Hey guys, welcome back to Mind State, where we help you reach your full potential. In today's video, we will be discussing 8 tips for inner child healing, how to get over your grown-up problems. The inner child is a term used to describe the sources of strength and lightheartedness that a person has acquired through their developmental stages. These strengths may be used to help heal wounds and traumas from earlier in life. Inner children can be thought of as the parts of ourselves that are still young or vulnerable. They are often the parts of ourselves that feel most hurt when we are hurt by someone else, or when we feel like we have failed in some way. Often, these inner children need to be loved, nurtured, and cared for just like any other child would need it. They can benefit from having experiences that make them happy, such as playing games or coloring pictures. They can benefit from getting good food. They can benefit from being with people who care about them. They can even benefit from having time spent just talking with someone who listens carefully and helps them feel understood. It's important to remember that all children, including inner children, have feelings, needs, and wants, just like adults do. Inner child work can be a long, slow process. There's no quick fix or magic solution to heal childhood trauma or distress. Inner child work is the ongoing, deliberate dialogue between your inner child and adult self. And with that, here are 8 tips on how to heal your inner child. Number 1. Recognize and accept the child within. Remembering that you were once a child and that time in your life has had an impact on who you are can begin with looking at photographs from your childhood. It may feel difficult at first, but taking time to recall memories from the past, accept that there were challenging times in your childhood, and learn how to accept yourself as an adult is important. Taking time away from work and family life to reflect on your childhood can be healing. It can help you to feel excited about what's ahead, rather than worried about remembering the past. Number 2. Listen to your inner child and you will find who you really are. Your inner child is a wounded animal, and it needs your help. If you've ever had any kind of animal, you know that they often have a very specific way of communicating with you. Sometimes they're trying to tell you that they're hungry, or that they need some attention. Sometimes they just want something to play with. But if you don't listen to them, if instead you just ignore their cries and continue on with your day, they'll eventually get upset and bite the hand that feeds them. Or in this case, the hand that gives them love and care. Your inner child is like that. It's crying out for attention because it needs love. But if you don't listen to it, it might start acting out in ways that hurt both of you. So please try to identify what message your adult self is trying to send you, and then show your inner child some love by giving it everything it needs. Some other questions that you can ask your inner child are: what are you beating yourself up over? How are you feeling today? How can I best help you out? There are a lot of ways to grow as a person, but one of the best is to listen to your inner child. When you're listening to your inner child, you're really just doing what any good parent does, listening to them and helping them feel understood. And that can be really powerful for you. When we don't feel understood, it can make us feel alone and disconnected from the world around us. But when we do feel understood, it's like we suddenly have this little piece of ourselves back again. And that feeling is pretty incredible. Number 3. Write a letter to yourself. Have you ever had that feeling where you're standing in the middle of a room and you feel like there are 2 versions of yourself? One version is the adult self that you know and love, but there's another version too, your inner child. Your inner child is a younger version of yourself, a more vulnerable version who is struggling to find its place in the world. This younger version has been through many experiences that have shaped who they are today. Some of these experiences were positive and some were negative, but either way, they've had an impact on how your inner child feels about themselves. When you write a letter to your inner child from your adult self, you provide your inner child with the wisdom of your adult self and also release some of the responsibility that the inner child may have always felt. This letter can begin with "Dear Younger Me." Another exercise that can be helpful is writing a letter from the inner child's perspective. In this letter, the inner child can write with crayons or markers and say anything that comes to mind. It would begin with "Dear Big Me." Number 4. Take a few minutes to meditate. Meditation is a way to become still and focus our attention. When we work through inner child wounds, we can be distracted and unable to clearly focus on what happened in the past. An inner child meditation is a guided and direct path to help you access feelings from the past. When we meditate, we feel like our mind is still and calm. We try not to let any thoughts enter our head. The goal of meditation is to be fully aware of what's happening in the present moment. When your mind wanders off into the past or future, it's called an attentional blink, or mind wandering. You may have noticed this when you get lost in thought while driving or walking somewhere familiar, and suddenly realize you don't remember how you got there. Meditation can help us become aware of our thoughts without judgment, so that we can learn how to stop them from controlling us. Are you liking the video so far? Before we get back, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell to get notified of our new uploads. Now let's get right back to it. Number 5. Try keeping a journal. Journaling is a therapeutic technique that helps you get your thoughts and feelings out. You can do this by writing them down, recording them in an audio format, or creating art based on your emotions. Journaling in this way can help you recognize and release unhealthy coping skills, allowing you to set new goals for yourself. Another approach is to journal from the perspective of your inner child. This will allow him or her to express him or herself rather than keeping emotions bottled up inside. Most people who journal have found it helpful in some way, whether it's helping them learn more about themselves or just letting go of some stress by writing down their thoughts on paper or screen. Some people find that they journal because they like to write anyway and don't need any other reason. Others find that journaling makes them feel calmer and more focused on the present moment when they are struggling with anxiety or depression issues. Still, others find that recording their thoughts on paper helps them cope with difficult situations by turning off their inner critic for a few minutes each day, so they can focus on something else instead. Number 6. Practice being a good parent to yourself. When you're reparenting yourself, it's important to remember that it's a process and that you need to go at your own pace. When reparenting yourself, start by learning how to identify your own physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. Be kind and compassionate toward yourself instead of judging or ignoring your feelings. Ask yourself, what are you feeling right now? Or what do you need right now? Once you've gotten a handle on what you need, start acting on it. Take care of yourself in healthy ways by eating well and exercising regularly. If there's something in your life that is making you unhappy, try changing it. And if there's something in your life that makes you happy but isn't good for your health, like sugar, then consider cutting back until it is no longer a problem. Remember, everyone deserves love, even if they don't realize it yet. Number 7. Looking after your inner child is a great way to stay happy. When you're healing from trauma, it's important to take care of your inner child. Your inner child is the part of you that was hurt in the past, and it's still there, holding on to the pain and trauma. Your adult self knows that it's time to let go of this pain, but your inner child doesn't believe they can heal. They just want to be held and comforted by their parent, which is you. The more you show your inner child that you were there for them and that they can trust you as an adult, the more they will feel safe enough to let go of their pain. The best way to do this is through play. Find fun ways to spend time with your inner child. Playing video games or watching cartoons are great ways to remind yourself that it's okay to be silly sometimes. Try keeping a photo of you when you were younger, somewhere accessible so that you can see how far away from pain and suffering you've come to. And finally, try using an affirmation like "I am safe" or "I am loved" throughout the day as a reminder for both your inner child and adult self that things are going well now. Number 8. Check in with your inner child daily and make sure that it gets what it needs. You are an adult now, but it's okay to still have your inner child in there somewhere. It's not like you're going to let that little guy run the show. You've got this. But if you want to know when something feels a little off, tune into your inner child. The first step is identifying what your inner child needs in order to feel safe and secure. Maybe it's a hug, or maybe it's a cookie. Whatever it is, make sure your inner child has those things regularly so they can thrive. Once you know how to take care of yourself, you'll start noticing when adult feelings are a bit too intense for the situation at hand. This is where being aware of your inner child comes into play. If you can identify what feelings goes with which adult situation and vice versa, then you'll be able to determine whether or not it's time for an adult-sized response or if there's something else going on under the surface. Hi everyone! Thanks so much for watching Mind State. If you found these helpful and enjoyed watching our content, please click like and subscribe. We'll always provide excellent takes on anything and everything. And also, we'd love to know about your thoughts, so leave a comment below. See you next time!